Snakes. My name is Dante, and today it's Podcast Tuesday once again, and it is the last podcast of the year. And of course, still on the holidays, still on, still on holidays, so this is a recorded podcast. But uh, here's the thing: 2023 is going to be Magic the Gathering's 30th anniversary. So why not review, the top 10 coolest cards from their 30th anniversary edition, which of course most people don't like it because it's just either they're reprinting cards from the reserve list or they're unplayable or like straight up proxies or yeah, I mean like honestly find them kind of cool, you can use these in commanders and yeah, you just cannot use them in tournaments. It's not really that. I mean like I can tell you, someone uses one of these cards or a gold bordered card in a commander game, I'll be fine with that. But proxies, no, no. These are like valid cards, like they're like actual cards, that you could use, in a casual, in casual, not like and like proxies is straight up like using like fake cards, you're not even like getting the cards yourself, the real cards, like it's like like it just removed the effort, of trying to like, get the cards you need, But anyways, we got an OG combo there and a non-bo as well that uses one OG card, that's in the set, like this is basically like beta, but uh, but they removed, all the bad stuff. They basically removed they re- they removed the ante cards, uh, even though I mean people should be able to collect these, like people like you can still buy those cards, the ante cards, but like and I mean like I don't know, I mean like they had to remove those cards, because of like uh of gambling laws and stuff. But then they also removed, uh some cards, that are kind of offensive, so yeah. But yeah, let's go into the combo. It is we got channel and disintegrate. Another variation of the channel fireball combo, the OG combo. And yeah, basically what the thing so basically I mean it's basically the same thing as a channel fireball combo, except it just uses disintegrate because like fireball the thing is that like, you can like spread the damage onto creatures, but you have to divide it evenly. And then for each extra creature you hit, you have to pay one extra. But this is like one creature only, and it prevents regeneration and exiles the creature. Like if it dies, but like, but can also hit the player. Basically the same thing as Fireball, and in my opinion, a bit better, than Fireball. So, and I've of course covered the channel Fireball combo on the channel. So why not use the channel Disintegrate combo? This would be like I'm pretty sure in some parallel universe, Channel Fireball is actually called Channel Disintegrate. Like, I mean, it has a different ring to it, so yeah. Pretty sure Channel Fireball uh, was a better name, than Channel Disintegrate. That would be funny, Channel Disintegrate Magic Fest 2023. Yeah, that would be funny. But let's go into the non-bo. Something you should avoid, including one original card, and it is you got Life Force and Micus Flatus. So Micus Flatus makes everything colorless, even things that aren't unbound. And Life Force is an enchantment that allows you to counter black spells by paying mana. And yeah, I mean, people would say like the OG counterspell was counterspell, but I mean, there's also the elemental blasts, and apparently there are also enchantments that would legit counter specific colors, of spells. Like kind of like those. The reason, probably the reason why we don't have uh elemental blasts for those colors, for like green, white, black, right? Like yeah, basically it's a non-bro because like life force is basically becomes useless because all the cards become colorless and there are no black spells then, you know. So that's basically the non-bro. Now for the number 10, and we got Soul Ring, Commander Classic. Wait, what? It's common. All right, yeah. I mean, like, so they all have like the same color for like the rarity, but if it's rare, it has like the stamp at the bottom. Otherwise, you can just check. At the bottom it says C or U. C meaning common and U meaning uncommon. OG Soul Ring was actually rare, so I don't know how it got downgraded to a common. Like it could have been an uncommon, but now like I mean, if this set was like legal, like then Soul Ring would become Pauper legal, and then they will ban Soul Ring from Pauper immediately. But I mean, like that does not affect format rarity because you cannot even like play these cards. I mean, if you can like do like uh tiny leaders, like uh or like a Commander Pauper or something, like oh, or what if you like build like an Infinity deck, like and you use a common tribal, you could actually play this because it's common. And yeah, actually, I actually got this twice, from unboxing. So I did like put in the Mythic Pauper series. Yeah, yeah, you should definitely check out my unboxings. But I mean, like Soul Ring, it's a really cool card. Playable in like every commander deck. Banned in Legacy, restricted. Is it yeah, I think it's restricted in Vintage, but they allow it in Commander, so that and they put it in every single Commander deck. So you can like, so yeah, everyone has it. Like everyone has Soul Ring, and everyone can use it. Like it's not like Mana Crypt or Mana Vault. I mean, like I didn't put Mana Vault in there because it's like Mana Vault's like it's weaker than Soul Ring, first of all, and second of all, it's only like the combo decks use it. Like it use like Soul Ring, but then like if you're like more serious, then like you also put in Mana Vault, and you just get you can just and also Mana Crypt, and you just get more mana. Like Mana Crypt's not in alpha or no, it's not in beta, so I mean it did not fit. Like it was so it was not in the 30th anniversary edition, and like I don't remember which set was it originated from, but I mean like I think it was a bookmark. I don't know. The first ever printing for it was bookmark. No, yo, what? The first ever printing for Mana Crypt was a bookmark promo. Then they reprinted it in Masters Edition 2, Masters Edition 2. Then they released a new art for Mana Crypt in Judge promo 2011. And and yeah, that was the first ever like with a new art. And like also then we got Eternal Masters. The only like variation, there's like Masterpiece Mana Crypt, and then there's like Double Masters 1 Mana Crypt, which have like different arts, but that's like alternate art, but like because like the OG bookmark version, the OG bookmark promo, and so I was right. Mana Crypt was from a bookmark. Mana Vault. Let's see, Mana Vault. Oh my god! Mark Taden legit illustrated the big mana rocks. No way, like Soul Ring, Mark Taden, Mana Vault, Mark Taden, and Mana Crypt, Mark Taden as well. Yeah, yeah. It looks like can't believe they were all illustrated by the same guy. The original ones, like of course there has been different arts, but like because of course they change art. But let's go into the number 9, and we got Lightning Bolt. So 1 mana, instant, deal free damage to any target. Classic one, really good, playable in modern. Uh, Legacy burn decks also play this, and of course they had to like, and it's the best, like in its kind. There's no stronger uh card, than Lightning Bolt when it comes to like damage spells. Like nowadays they start like printing like Shock, like standard and Pioneer sets, like which basically deals 2 damage. Or then you got Lightning Strike, which is 2 mana for the free damage. And then of course even like across time, like we had like of course this like but with downside, like for example Lava Spike, not strictly better because it is an arcane spell, so you could splice arcanes onto it, but it's like sorcery that deals free damage to target player. Uh then we even got one that was like 1 mana instant, deal free damage to target non-red creature. That got time shifted to white. It became Sunlands. But then we also got uh we also even got a a javelin or something. What was the name of it? I don't remember. It was like it was it was like uh I don't remember the name, but it was just like strictly worse. Like it was like the worst of its kind. Like 1 mana sorcery deal 1 damage to any target. But then you even got like uh, but yeah, I mean like eventually they have made like not like strictly worse versions, but like we got play with fire now that deals damage to any target, but if it hit the player, you scry 1. But yeah, this is the OG, and also it's also played in pauper burn decks. Like it's like I don't see why you wouldn't play Lightning Bolt. Like it is like probably I think it's the most played card in modern right now. Probably it might be something else, but I mean like I think Lightning Bolt's the most played because like it's not just burn that plays it. It's like every deck that uses red uses Lightning Bolt. Let's just go into the number 8, another OG classic, and it is when it comes to like OGs, it's 2 mana instant counter target spell, second best counter spell in the game, with the best one being Mana Drain, released a few years afterwards. And of course, from there they would not make like like counter spell like that's like strictly better than counter spell. Some were worse than it, like cancel for example. But then you even got like some that like deviations of it. Like maybe like for example, we got negate that replaces one of the blues, but it cannot hit creatures. Then you even got essence scatter that is the opposite of negate, and then like and then you even got essence capture that for that same cost it only hits creatures, but you grow one of your creatures, and like it's just like the original. I mean, this was released at the same time as Red Elemental Blast and Blue Elemental Blast, and also what's it called? Life Force and other cards, like that. We could an enchantment, like counter stuff. I mean, like this was like the OG. It was legit called counter spell. It would counter target spell, and then like Legends, they made even uncommon. Like this was like uncommon, and then Legends made an uncommon counter target spell, same cost, but you get the mana. Like you get the mana that was spent, to cast it. So like you counter like Crawl Worm, for example, with mana drain. That would have been, like what would have happened in the past. You would get 6 mana on your turn, 6 colorless mana, not 4 and 2 greens. You get 6 colorless mana, and then you could play in, your uh, you could play in like Fireball for 6 or something, like or but yeah, I don't know. Since I haven't played, since I wasn't even alive during that period, then I really wouldn't have known how exactly Magic the Gathering was, like during that period. But yeah, I mean, like more or less from like seeing images, like and memes and stuff, then I could basically, like more or less say how probably would have gone. But let's go into the number 7, and we got demonic tutor, the original tutor. Apparently, vampiric tutor is not in the set. It was, yeah, it was not in the. I mean, if I didn't see vampiric tutor in there, so probably wasn't even in beta. So, but yeah, it was basically 2 mana, sorcery, search a library for a card, put in your hand, and shuffle. And it was just the most powerful tutor. Like, I mean, like, of course it's debatable, uh, but I mean, like, it's probably like the they were both vampiric and demonic tutor are banned in legacy and restriction in vintage, but like it was like they weren't even in the same set. Like the first printing for vampiric tutor was visions, but the first printing for demonic tutor was the original alpha set. Yep, and it was, of course, like probably this like 2 mana sorcery and you pick something. It was uncommon, like vampiric tutor is rare, but like demonic tutor was uncommon. Like it was like 2 mana sorcery. You just get any card you put in your hand, like straight up that. Uh, vampiric tutor was an instant, but it was like for 1 mana you get anything, but you put it on top, so someone could melee or something, like, and you'd lose the card, but then you lose 2 life as well. So like demonic tutor is like probably the best because it takes it directly to your hand. You can like use it straight away, and you don't even lose life. Only issue is it's a sorcery, and it costs 1 more. But they're both like obnoxiously powerful. They're like they even have to make like weaker versions or like not like strictly worse. I mean some are strictly worse. We got like Grim Tutor, for example, 3 mana, sorcery, search a library for a card, put in your hand, shuffle, and lose 3 life. Diabolic Tutor, search a library for a card, put in your hand, and shuffle. 4 mana. For basically double the cost of Demonic Tutor for what Demonic Tutor does. Then we even got Inferno Tutor. 2 mana. Wait, was it an instant? I think it was an instant. That was like not strictly worse, but like reveal something from your hand, and you reveal something from your hand. Oh, it's a sorcery, not an instant. Reveal something from your hand, search it out for that same card, and put it in your hand. And Hellbent, you get to search any card. But like that was basically if you didn't have cards in it. And we even got Imperial Steel. Same thing as Empiric Tutor, sorcery speed action. But yeah. Let's go into number 6. And we got Never Shadow. 2 mana, 1/1 spirit with haste, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if Never Shadow is in your graveyard with 3 or more creatures above it, you may put it on battlefield. Yes, you have to specifically put like Never Shadow like below the creature. So like you just like Never Shadow and then like 3 other creatures have to like hit the graveyard, or you use something that rearranges the graveyard, or when you search your graveyard, you can like when you pick something up from the graveyard, you can like rearrange it actually, and it works. Like you can even like or shuffle the graveyard. Like and yeah, it just straight up comes back. Like even like if you put like one Never Shadow above another Never Shadow, it will count as one. Like it was like really cool. Like, and the thing is that like reason why I didn't put like the dual lands in this was because I mean they are really good. I gotta tell you this, they're really good cards, but they're not cool. Like they're not like, oh wow, really cool cards. Like I mean like they're like the OG duels, and like here's the thing, it was like the same reason why I didn't put Mana Vault in this podcast. It's like same reason why I didn't put the the dual lands. I just didn't put them. Same reason why I didn't put the the mana vault and also some other cards. But like maybe like but yeah, because like two lands are like in the reserve list, and mana vault rarely even gets reprinted, and when it does get reprinted, it's always like really expensive. Like I remember opening one for a booster pack, and like apparently it was like $120. I'm like, bro, what? Yeah, it was even more expensive than Mana Crypt at the time. I mean, like, of course, Mana Crypt, they always like Mana Crypt and Mana Vault, they always like go up price. Wizard slices the price down by reprinting it, and then like it's just an internal cycle, like eventually they're gonna stop, so like people stop earning like money this way, like uh buy low, sell high, like. But yeah, I mean, like Never Shadow is actually a really cool one, and I've seen it in dredge decks, especially like legacy mana-less dredge decks. Sometimes with the mana, but I mean like, but yeah, mana-less dredge is like probably one of the coolest legacy decks, like. But let's go into the number 5. Yeah, number 5, and we got Time Twister. So some of you might say, I mean, like Time Twister is like, oh, Time Twister is like the only member of the Power 9 that is Commander legal, and most people don't even know Time Twister is Commander legal, and of course I tell you it is Commander legal. It is actually, you just don't even see this in Commander, because it's Power 9. It's like really hard to obtain, and like honestly, if you have this card, you deserve to play this in Commander. I mean, like if you had it, it's like OG. If you bought it like just to use it in a Commander deck, nah. I mean, like this is actually a really cool one. Of course I gotta put all 9 members of the Power 9 in there. Like there's like and then you're like, but this is number 5, and this is like the first Power 9 member I'm seeing. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, bro, 5 of the Power 9s are like legit the same card, right? Like, yeah, that is true. 5 of the Power 9 is like the same card. Like they should have like honestly, I feel like they should have done like it should have been the Power 6. You have like all the Motson, Time Twister, Ancestral Recall, Time Walk, Black Lotus, and Contract from Below. That should have been the Power 6. Like, but then instead we got the Power 9, and like they excluded a Contract from Below from the Power 9, and they put like, and they gave each mod a name for themselves. Like, but yeah, gotta tell you, the Motson are really cool cards, and like they're like better than the basic lands, because it doesn't even count as a land drop, and they're like the same thing. Let's go into number 4, and it is we got Mott's Emerald, or the 5 Mottsen. 0 mana, artifact, and then tap 1, depending for the color. It's basically like there's 1 for each color. Each one a member of the Power 9, and they're really cool. They were played in, there's like probably like the weakest in the Power 9 to actually be banned in Commander, because like the other ones are like, they're all banned in Legacy, Restricted, and Vintage. But I mean, like all of them except for Time Twister. Like Time Twister is like the only one not banned in Commander, but the other ones are banned in Commander. But still, like it's the, but like they're like the, but yeah, all the mods in are the same thing. So I just put them all in the same number 4 slot. Let's go into the number 3, and it is got Ancestral Recall. 1 mana instant target player draws 3 cards. Second best card draw spell ever. And of course the best one in the set. Like of course the best one is a Contract from Below. But that isn't even like legal anymore. You cannot even, it's like that card like almost got deleted, but it was like the most powerful. That they had to remove it because of a gambling loss, the Contract from Below. And didn't they didn't even put it in 30th edition. But of course we got the Power Knight and lands. But Ancestral Recall, 1 mana instant, target player draws 3 cards. This is just straight up powerful card. You can like use this for yourself or to do it to the opponent, so they would like deck out or something. But I mean, like you basically do this 1 mana and you draw 3 cards. Really good. Of course, they have made weaker versions, of like not strictly worse versions. Well, of course, some not strictly worse. Right? Like in the same set, we had like Brain Geezer, X and 2 blue. Target player draws X cards, but that's not like strictly better and it's strictly worse than Ancestral Recall. Spend 6 mana and then you could get 4 cards, or you just overflow the mana and like with Channel and then Brain Geezer. That also works, like Channel Brain Geezer also works, No, it doesn't. Well, it does. If you have more life than the opponent's library, that could work. Or you could just stack yourself, like you could fill up your hand by like making a 1 turn, no, 1 instance Yawgmoth Spark gain, because you can pay the life and then get the mana. But like, anyways, of course we got like strictly worse version. We got Ancestral Visions, that basically you have to suspend it for 4 turns for 1 blue, and you just couldn't cast it from the hand. So like basically you have to suspend it. Of course you can cascade it. So I mean, like, but the original card is 1 mana. So I mean, what exactly? Like, so how exactly is it like gonna be better just because it's like 0 mana? What? I mean, there are no 1 mana spells with Cascade. Like you could cascade into an Ancestral Recall or an Ancestral Visions. It doesn't even matter. Like which you cascade into. But then you got Divination, 3 mana sorcery, draw 2 cards. Then you got Harmonize. Well, no, there's this. I think there's like there's this original blue one, and then it became Harmonize, and into green. I was like, wait, does they even show the original? I don't know. I mean, like, draw 3 cards. Draw 3 cards, and blue search. It was we got a Master Components. That 4 mana, draw 3 cards, and then put 1 back onto the bottom of your library. Then you got then you got Attunement, 3 mana enchantment. Oh no, wait, you could keep on reusing it. It's like bounce it, draw 3 cards, and discard 4 cards. Brilliant plan. 5 mana, sorcery, draw 3 cards. Then there was a Compulsive Research, 3 mana, sorcery. Target player draws 3 cards. Then that player discards 2 cards unless they discard land card. And then Concentrate, that was a card. 4 mana sorcery, draw 3 cards. Yeah, they're all just like worse, like. Yeah, let's go into the number 2, and this. We got Time Walk, 2 mana sorcery. Try to play. No, you take the extra turn after this one. So this is the greatest, the best like extra turn spell, the most powerful, second most powerful. No, third most powerful because if we count contract from below. But I mean, like this is like second most powerful card. Like of Magic the Gathering, and also really cool one. 2 mana sorcery. Take extra turn after this one. We got of course so many like they were testing this card. Like there's this funny story. Like well I mean like I've heard of it. Apparently yeah they were playtesting Magic the Gathering, and they were playtesting a red version of Time Walk. The same thing but in red. It was 1/1 red sorcery. Target player skips their next turn. Uh, which basically since uh how it was playtested, they were like playtesting, like it was like kind of like more colloquial, not like specific to rule, but like for example, Time Walk would say you get an extra turn, but then for example, Starburst, that was the name of the card. It would say your opponent loses next turn. So of course people would be like, hey, I win the game, don't I? I play this, you lose, and like of course they didn't end up releasing a Starburst. And if they did, they would have had a power 10, not a power 9. But like what I'm saying, I mean, if we had like this power 5, like power 6 actually, if we include a contact from below, it would have been a power 7 if we had a Starburst in there as well. But yeah, also Time Walk would then be referenced, in Time Sidewalk playtest, which would playtest MTG Arena mechanics. It was an 8 mana sorcery. It was 4 times the cost of Time Walk to take an extra turn. But if you had it in the opening hand, you could exile it and shuffle in 4 Time Walks into your library. The OG, yes, you could shuffle them into the library. Of course, playtests did not have tokens to use them, so they didn't reprint, like Time Walk as a token. They even refused to reprint Black Lotus as a token for Garth One Eye. But now they reprint Black Lotus as a proxy, so you could use this as a Garth One Eye token, for Black Lotus. Let's go into number 1, and you all know what it is. We got Black Lotus, best card in Magic the Gathering. 0 mana artifact, tap, sacrifice it, add 3 mana of any one color. It was like more powerful than Dark Ritual, more powerful than like any ritual. There's like the OG. They made like even a strictly worse version called Lotus Bloom, which would spend it for 3 turns, 0 mana, and then you would do the same thing. And of course, you had to like make like strictly worse versions or spins of the Black Lotus. We got like Lotus Veil land that would tap for 3 mana of any one color, but you have to sacrifice 2 untapped lands as enters. Lotus Field, land with hexproof, but enters tapped as enters, sacrifice 2 lands, and tap for 3 mana of any one color. Also, we got Gilded Lotus, 5 mana artifact, tap for 3 mana of any one color. Lotus Petal, 0 mana artifact, tap, sacrifice, add 1 mana of any color. Basically a treasure token. And last but not least, we even have a playtest card, Mirrored Lotus, 0 mana artifact, reflect for 0 mana. So the opponent, when you cast it, your opponents can copy it by paying that cost, and the cost of 0. So they would each get their copy of Mirrored Lotus, and tap, sacrifice, add 1, tap, exile, add 1 mana of any color, add 3 mana of any color, not sacrifice, exile it. Silver Border set Unglued, the original one. Yeah, the original Silver Border set had Black Lotus, a 0 mana artifact that allows you to tap, break the card, and then add 4 mana of any one card to mana pool, and then exile the pieces of the card. So you could like, it was of course a reference to the original Chaos Orb. someone was actually using Chaos Orb at a tournament. They were like about to lose, and they say how to use this Chaos Orb. And you know what? He figured out a way. What he did, he just it was an urban legend. Don't know if it was real or not. Like no one even knows if that was a real story or not. It could have been real. He just went, teared the card into pieces, threw them in the air, and then just board wiped it with it. And it worked. That's how the story goes, you know? So Magic the Gathering has made like specific ruling and like I don't know if it was a specific ruling. I don't remember like if there was any, but they would then go in and uh make un unglued the first ever like funny Magic the Gathering set like Silver Border, you know, and they would have like Blacker Lotus and Chaos Confetti. Chaos Confetti being like a more expensive version of a Chaos Orb in mana cost, but it would basically be used by tearing the card apart and using it, you know. But uh, Blacker Lotus was basically that, but you add mana, you know. Uh, but yeah, basically that was like what Black Lotus is cost, and of course, you know, people would invest using Black Lotus by buying it, selling it, and like if you had like a signed version of it, it would be like it's like very expensive because the guy who illustrated this, Christopher Rush, he's dead. So you cannot sign it anymore. Uh, you cannot get him to sign any more of your cards because he's dead. And like, and for a matter of fact, you know, the guy who illustrated Black Lotus, Christopher Rush, he illustrated like various Magic the Gathering cards. And the only like non-Magic the Gathering card he illustrated was like Mewtwo from Pokemon, and it was actually illustrated by Christopher Rush. And I was like at a Magic Fest. Yeah, I think it was Las Vegas, and I see a Mewtwo on being sold. I'm like, bruh, this card went to the wrong convention. And I'm like, what is this doing here? Like, this card is in the right convention. I'm like, wait, what? And like, he just explains that this is Christopher Rush. And like, oh my god, yeah, I knew this. Anyways, Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, follow my Twitter channel, share friends, stay tuned to the streams and podcasts. Podcasts will be live every Tuesday. And Merry Christmas. Bye.